Hi, YouTube. So recently, a an alt-right YouTuber that goes by the name Rad Russ posted a video called "8 Questions for the Skeptic Community." Now, I consider myself a skeptic. I consider myself a Christian skeptic. It was actually going to be my name on YouTube until I found out that somebody beat me to the punch by about a month. But I consider myself a Christian skeptic. I'm skeptical by nature. I believe that all things should be questioned, and the people that he was addressing this to are people that I tend to like quite a lot. He made this video in response to the Sargon Richard Spencer Styx debate that I just recently made a video on. So I thought I would give a shot answering his 8 questions. So I have listened to all 8 questions. I will be forming my response as cogently as possible, and I will try to be as respectful as possible. I will also be presenting these questions completely unedited, so that you can see exactly what it is I'm responding to. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Number 1. Name one race other than the Caucasian race who will defend the concept of classical liberalism.
Well, how about Indians like Dinesh D'Souza, blacks like Thomas Sowell or Larry Elder, Asians, Latinos. I mean, like literally any of them. My biggest problem with your question at uh, at all is that you seem to be conflating race and culture. The two are not the same thing. Literally anybody can adopt any culture. If a person adopts Western classical liberal culture, then they can defend it. It's not up to any particular race to defend classical liberalism. It is up to individuals to defend classical liberalism. That's the whole point of classical liberalism, is that it is individualistic by nature. Anybody can subscribe to it, and anybody can defend it. There are many non-white people that are defending classical liberalism. There are many white people that are trying to dismantle it. It's not a matter of race.
Number 2. What are the benefits of multiculturalism? Now, I know this one's not a yes or no answer, but since we'll just leave it at that. But I am curious to find out what, and I've never received a satisfactory answer to this question. In the opinion of the skeptic community, what are the benefits of multiculturalism? Please let me know.
Well, I suppose it depends on what you mean when you say multiculturalism. If you're talking about multiple different values going on, there isn't really any benefit to that. But if we're talking about just like historical context of many different people coming in the same place, main the main good thing that comes from multiculturalism of differing historical perspectives is the differing historical perspectives. I mean, having only one viewpoint on any particular subject that you have access to limits your scope of knowledge on that subject. Having multiple viewpoints by which to view a specific subject will increase your knowledge of that subject. This isn't just true as far as knowledge goes. Genetically, this has been proven to be true too. When you take a look at take a look at the breeding of like horses and dogs, mixed race horses and dogs tend to be smarter, stronger. They tend to be able to better adapt to their surroundings. Mutts just tend to be more physically and mentally fit. Multiculturalism has a very great advantage in that case. Multiple races mixing together seems to by all, well, I say all, but by many credible sources, seems to increase the knowledge pool and the strength of the society of which they are in. So long as the society has a shared value system, there really isn't any problem with having multiple races or multiple historical perspectives going on.
Number 3. Are you in favor of globalism or nationalism?
No, not really. I'm not really in favor of either globalism or nationalism as a catch-all good. I don't think that either one of them, by at either extreme, is necessarily a good thing. I mean, like, national and international policy is not one question, it's a multitude of questions. And you can have nationalist or globalist positions on every single one of them. There isn't really to say that a person is 100% nationalist or 100% globalist. I think that's oversimplifying the matter. I think that each question, as far as international or national policy, needs to be handled on a case by case basis, and each one of those questions has to be dealt with the full scope of historical precedents. We have to take a look at what has been tried in the past, what has not worked, and what has worked, and go with what has worked. And in some cases, it means respecting national sovereignty. In some cases, it means international cooperation. It just really depends on the particular policy that we would be talking about.
Number 4. Do you support foreign intervention to establish democracy?
No, but really only because it doesn't work. You can't really magic a society into Western democracy or a Western culture. People have to choose it. Like a society essentially has to be brought to the point where they will be willing to fight for their own freedom. We can't really intervene and hope to successfully turn other societies into full Western free societies. It doesn't really work. Now that doesn't now when I say that, I'm not just talking about wars either. I'm talking about any foreign intervention. I'm talking about the amount of aid that we give to other countries. I think that aid should be cut out for the most part. I think we should be, supporting our allies and supporting our interests. But as far as the nation goes, I think that giving international aid to countries that practice slavery and have governments that murder people by the millions. I mean, when we give aid to these countries, the aid is taken by the tyrannies and by the military dictatorships that are oppressing these people just so that they can remain in power. It's just not helpful at all. This is my personal opinion. I'm not speaking for like anybody else in the skeptic community here, but my personal opinion is no, foreign intervention doesn't really work at all. I would love to see these places become Western democracies. I believe they can. It's just something they have to come to by themselves.
Number 5. Should countries have control of their own currency?
Well, I mean, countries don't really have control over their currency. It's a country's currency is like the value of a country's currency is determined by a multitude of economic factors. Countries don't have control over their currency. If a country wants to trade with other countries, then the value of that currency is going to be set in part with the amount that they can trade with those countries. This isn't something that can be controlled. This isn't something that a nation can just decide, no, we're not going to do this, unless they decide to become just completely isolationist, which has its own slew of problems there. But I don't really understand why you're asking this question. It's not possible for a country to have control over its currency. It's just a supply and demand thing.
Number 6. Do you believe that demographic replacement threatens the West, or traditionally white countries?
No, it's not demographic replacement. It's a complete replacement of value system that's causing that. With the amount of people that are coming in to Western countries, the people that are coming in don't have the opportunity to acclimate and to adopt Western culture, and that's really what's driving the migrant crises that we have all over the West right now. It's not a matter of demographic. It's not a matter of race. It's a matter of value system. It's a difference in value system that's going on, and these communities are becoming so large so quickly, and remaining so insular because people, just by nature, all people just really don't like change all that much. They remain in their insular communities and they don't acclimate to Western culture. It's not that other demographics are hurting traditionally white countries, but it's just the speed at which things are happening, and a difference in value system for the people that are coming in. That's pretty much it.
7. Is free speech the same as propaganda?
No, no, no. Free speech is not. The two are not even in the same category. They're not. They're not comparable. Free speech is a value. It's a value of allowing. It's an individualist value specifically. It's a value of allowing people, any people, to say, think, or believe anything they want. That is what free speech is. Propaganda isn't a value. It's not even in the same category. What propaganda is by the impartial, factual meaning of the word. It's a form of language that is designed to get a population of any size, to believe certain things. It has certainly been used for bad things in the past. It's been used for it's a tool of manipulation. Like free speech is a value, propaganda is a tool. They're different categories. They're not comparable at all. I don't really understand why you're asking the question as to if they're the same, because they're not. They're not even. They aren't comparable at all. They're just two completely different things.
Number 8. Will a purely individualistic society protect young children from pedophilia?
Yes, not only yes, but a purely individualistic system is the only kind of system that will protect children from pedophilia. The reason for this is because in an individualist system, every single individual has rights. Very specific rights, and the right to not be raped, essentially, the right to live your life free of violence from other people, is an individualist right. Collectivism, identitarianism, on the other hand, allows for preferred groups, for people of specific groups to have essentially more rights than other groups. That's just the nature of the beast with identitarianism and with collectivism et al. It's you have preferred classes that can, just by their nature, be ignored when they do things against people of non-preferred classes. I mean, back when blacks were enslaved by the American people back in the 1700s and early 1800s, nobody really cared when like a 6-year-old black girl was raped by like a 53-year-old slave master. No, as like the most you would get would be like a slap on the wrist. It's like just this terrible, horrible thing that was going on. I mean, back during the Holocaust, do you think any of the Nazis cared if some Jewish girl got raped? No, no, and we're seeing the same thing happen in Hollywood right now. This preferred class that is just rife with people that have been getting away with sexual assault and pedophilia for a very, very long time because they are a preferred class. It is not only does individualism protect children from pedophiles, it is the only system that protects children from pedophiles because there are no preferred classes and each individual person is responsible for his or her own actions.
And I just thought I'd drop in a bonus question, and it is this. What political system best protects Western civilization?
The constitutional representative republic.
And the obvious answer being democracy. Let me ask you, how well is that working out for you?
Well, seeing as how a pure democracy is mob rule, and it allows a majority to become the preferred class, rather than in a constitutional representative republic, where said constitution will protect individual liberty, pure democracy isn't really working out so well. But going back to a constitutional representative republic, that should work out just fine.
Looking forward to hearing back, and I will analyze the results later. Thank you for listening.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the questions. I hope that my answers were helpful to you. I hope that I didn't get too heated. I know I got heated during a few of those answers. I hope I remained respectful. I hope that I didn't offend you. If I did, I apologize. It wasn't my intention. But I hope that you found my answers helpful. I hope that if you have any questions about anything I said, feel free to hit me back and let me know. Thanks.